Yo, what up, guys? This is your boy Kofi with KO Sports Talk back out with another video, man. And dude, so much stuff happening in the NFL right now, dude. NFL free agency is beginning. Um, a lot of NFL reporters are reporting that Max Crosby is going to be traded this week. NFL free agency is going to begin this week. NFL Combine's wrapping up, and we're all going to cover this today, bro. But before we start this video, guys, make sure to subscribe, man. My goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers. I got big goals this year, man, and I'm gonna go for it, man. I know this is a big jump. I know that getting 10,000 subscribers is a big jump, but I believe I could do it. I believe I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna hold myself to that standard, man. I've had this channel for a couple years, but it's a new year. It's time to grind, time to pump out some NFL content. I'm going to be pumping out some NBA content. I kind of been slacking on my NBA content, but it is what it is. But guys, I just want to report, guys, specifically, with the NFL Combine, the Chicago Bears reportedly met with like over, I believe it was 30 NFL prospects. They've met with some notably with a lot of defensive tackles. I'm going to read off some of them. Dante Corleone from Cincinnati, they met up with him. They met up with some safeties. They met up with Caleb Downs, they met up with a linebacker. I wrote some of these stuff down that the Chicago Bears met. They met up with Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech. Hold on, Chicago Bears prospects, NFL prospects. I'm gonna type this down. I'm gonna write NFL prospects. They met. Meeting tracker. Okay. So here's a couple of the notable prospects that they met. They met Caleb Downs, defensive tackle from Florida. Caleb Banks. He entered the CFB season with the chance to solidify his case as the best defensive tackle in football. He underwent surgery after injuring his foot in week 2. He missed the rest of the season, but his performance in the NFL Combine should calm fears about whether his foot still bothers him. Whether he did not perform every joke, Banks put up a solid 5.5-second 40-yard dash, 32-inch vertical jump, showcasing his explosive athleticism that made him famous in Florida. Banks is more a riskier prospect than Ohio's Kenny McDaniel, but his ceiling is high. Danny Dennis Sutton, a defensive end at Penn State. They met up with him. This guy is pretty big. He's 6'6", 256 pounds, a little bit on the lighter end of what Dennis Allen is looking for his prototypical defensive end. He's looking more towards that 6. He's got the height, but in terms of the weight, he needs to bulk up. He's definitely got the arm length. He's got 32-inch arms. What's up, Kasim Baker? What's up, bro? How you doing, man? He's definitely got the arm length. He's got to put on some meat on his bones. If he gets it to at least 265, 270, then he's good. Dennis Sutton, of course. Oh, he has 33-inch arms. He led the NFL Combine with his performance, and all of his numbers ranked in the top 6 for defensive ends. He posted a 39.5-inch vertical jump, a 10-foot 11 broad jump, and a 4.63 40-second dash. That's pretty fast for somebody his size. He may not be a game record by himself, but Dennis is exactly what the Bears need, specifically with the depth that we need on this line. We need a lot of productive. And if you even look at his numbers, he tallied 42 tackles, 8.5 sacks. Total, I think it was like a total of 42 tackles and 8.5 sacks in 2024 and the 2025 season. So this guy, he's pretty productive, and he could definitely be a depth piece for this Chicago Bears defensive line. Another one that they have interviewed is Zakee Whitley, safety from Penn State. Whitley checked into the NFL Combine at 6'3", pretty tall, 23 pounds, giving a profile similar to Brisker. He's a little bit bigger than Brisker. He was willing to he's very good at stopping the run. He's very fast enough to lurk in the backfield. He does enough ability to diagnose what the offense is up to. And yeah, man, this is great. I think this is all that I've seen so far. But so far, man, what I'm seeing so far from the NFL Combine is that this is very, very, from what I've known, is that this is a very, very safety and edge rusher type of draft. And we got a lot of stuff that the Chicago Bears is going to be doing their due diligence, doing their homework. I think they're already doing their homework right now in terms of the NFL draft and looking at some of these prospects. I believe if I were the Chicago Bears, I would keep some of my draft picks before we go on to the next topic in regards to Max Crosby. I do think there's a lot of good prospects in this draft, even some impact day one impact players in the draft, like a Caden McDonald, if he's there. If a Caden McDonald is there, I'm not too sure. I haven't gotten any reports that they have interviewed him. I got to look more into it, but from what I've known, Caden McDonald is one of the top defensive tackle prospect in this year's draft. And so I think with him, he could be a type of impact player, as well. If he's there at 25, take him. I would take him, But that's going to transition into our next topic. In regards to Max Crosby, and the Chicago Bears trading for him. Now, there are reports of Jeremy Fowler and Albert Breer. Albert Breer was leaning towards the Chicago Bears. Not Chicago Bears. The Las Vegas Raiders trading Max Crosby in this upcoming NFL free agency. And Jeremy Fowler, he also reported, he said one player has a strong trade value. According to DraftKings, there are reports that DraftKings talked about that the Chicago Bears are the earlier favorites to get Max Crosby, and other teams like the Titans, they're in on it. Philadelphia's in on the trade. I believe Philadelphia or in teams. Let me check teams that are in on the Max Crosby. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay. So other teams that are considered favorites are the Washington Commanders, the Titans, the Philadelphia Eagles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, yeah, the Dallas Cowboys, the Los Angeles Rams, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Arizona Cardinals, the Tennessee Titans, and the Washington Commanders. And of course, the Bears are one of the top teams that are in the running. They're the favorites so far. With they're plus 200 right now. They're plus 200 right now, and in order to keep them. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. That doesn't mean nothing, DraftKings, like people just speculate and talk about DraftKings, they might know something that we may not know, but that's neither here nor there. That's kind of reading in between the lines. We're not too sure of what's supposed to happen. I mean, like when we traded for Khalil Mack several years ago, back in 2018, a lot of people were saying that the Green Bay Packers were the favorite to get Khalil Mack, but they never even got him. So that's neither here nor there. And we weren't even in the radar of getting a Khalil Mack, getting that type of player. But I take it with a grain of salt. I was watching some content creators saying that, oh, DraftKings might know something that we may not know, but don't read. I would say don't read in between the lines. I take that with a grain of salt. DraftKings at the end of the day, they're a sports betting company. And if they see, especially with the whole interview with the Max Crosby and Caleb Williams trade, I guess they kind of looked into that and were trying to kind of read in between the lines that, okay, Max Crosby, is probably telling the Las Vegas Raiders, okay, I want to get traded to the freaking Chicago Bears or whatever. Like, no, that doesn't mean nothing. At the end of the day, it's up to the front office to decide, what teams is suitable for them, what's going to benefit them for the team in the long run and in the future. And that's probably getting the best draft capital for the team, because going into this 2026 draft, the Las Vegas Raiders are going to possibly draft Fernando Mendoza in this upcoming draft. So they want to make sure that if they're going to be drafting their quarterback, they want to make sure they're going to be putting him in the right situation as possible for this for their team. So, but we're going to find out, definitely, man. We're going to find out. I know that the Chicago Bears, that I believe they're 6 million over the limit, if I'm not mistaken. They're kind of like 6 million over the limit last time I checked. And so I believe if they traded DJ Moore, and I think Tremaine Edmonds is going to free up, I think, at least 36 million in cap space. That's don't quote me on that, but I believe it's going to free up, I think, 36 million in cap space. From what I know Tremaine Edmonds is going to free up at least 17 million in cap space, and if they trade him, that's going to free up, I think, 17 million in cap space. But I think right now the Chicago Bears, I believe, are 5 million over the limit. But according to Jeremy Fowler, one player has strong trade value, of course, we know, and a decent chance to be dealt with is Tremaine Edmonds. The Titans, the Raiders, the Giants are among teams that are highly interested in high-end linebacker, and they like Edmonds. Who only 27 years old, despite 8 years in the league. He was granted to seek a trade next week. And of course, Albert Breer says that the Las Vegas Raiders are leaning toward Max Crosby being traded this week, of course, because I believe the new league year is going to start this week. I believe it's March 8th or next week. When does NFL league year start? I believe it's next week. No. March 11th. Okay, so that's next week. The league year starts March 11th. Okay. So sometime next week. So March 11th, I believe that's a Wednesday. So that's next week. That's next week. Okay. But sometimes, players, they get dealt with. They get dealt with usually a week before the league year starts. And so they want to get as much trade value. I don't know about the Las Vegas Raiders, but the Las Vegas Raiders, they're trying to get some trade value. I believe they're talking about how they want 2 ones. They want 2 first-round picks and a veteran player for Max Crosby, which I think is a high price because due to this guy's injury history, he's going to be 29 years old starting this 2026 season. He's damn near pushing 30 years old. And he's already had like 2 surgeries on his knees. Even though he's a great player, he's got a high motor, but like that's really too high, man. Like Micah Parsons was worth that price, and he's much younger. He's like 2 years younger, I believe. He's 2 years younger than Max Crosby. So that's like you're taking a flyer on a guy who's a little bit older. He's pushing 30 years old. That's like a really big risk, man. And the Chicago Bears, it's a good thing because they're very, very aggressive. They want to make sure that they're going to be putting a good product in for 2026 season and contending for the 2026 season, because I believe Caleb Williams has like 2 more years left on his rookie contract before Yeah, I think he has like at least 2 more years on his rookie contract, and then he has a 5th-year option. Before they could sign him to that big contract. And so you got that window. You got that 2026 window. You got 2027, and I think 2028 before you could sign him to that big contract. But this is the window, man. But taking an example from the Seattle Seahawks, they don't got no big name. Like I said, I did in a previous video, they didn't have no big name type of players, but what they did is that they had big play production from the defensive line. And so, me personally, I wouldn't mind getting a Max Crosby, but the thing is, like, we got so much need on this team. We need a linebacker. If we do trade Tremaine Edmonds, we need a linebacker. I still think we do need a linebacker because Tremaine Edmonds, like, I think the first 7 weeks he did play well. He's playing at all-pro level, but I don't know if it was just injuries that kind of affected him. But like during I think after his injury, after he came back, he just completely fell off. Like he was given a lot of coverages, and then also TJ Edwards, he's also recovering. He's going to be recovering from that ACL injury, that he had against I think it was the Packers. And so that's something that has to be addressed. Of course, the safety has to be addressed. Jaquan Brisker is not going to come back. I don't think Jaquan Brisker is going to come back this season. We do need to sign Kevin Byard. Kevin Byard is kind of on the older side. He's 30. He's going to be 33 years old, and so we need to look into the safety position in this draft. Just some of the prospects that I was talking about. In regards to the NFL Combine, we can look into those types of players. And so the Bears, they got their hands full. We got a lot of work on this defense. And of course left tackle. I'm not too sure you guys heard, but the San Francisco's 49ers are possibly it's possible that they're going to release Trent Williams. Trent Williams, he's got a high price tag. He's going to be owed $39 million this upcoming season. And this 49ers think that's going to be a little too much, for their cap space. And so, I mean, I'm going to monitor that whole situation, with Trent Williams. I know that's pretty high, man. Like $39 million is nothing to scoff at, bro. But, if you get Trent Williams like that, you get the best left tackle in the league, bro. I mean, man, that'd be crazy. But at the same time, he has been dealing with some injuries, so you got to look at that. You got to look at the risk. There's rewards and there's risk. And the risk is if you take a flyer on Trent Williams and you try to bring him in, you try to sign him in that deal, you're taking a risk, man. You're taking a big risk. But at the same time, if he stays healthy, you're going to be getting a big reward, and you're getting the best left tackle in the league. He's a future Hall of Famer, 12-time Pro Bowler, a multiple-time All-Pro player, astounding athlete. But yeah, that's a lot of money to take. But that's neither here nor there, guys. I'm going to be doing a lot more content. Like I said, I'm going to be this upcoming week. I'm definitely going to be looking into a lot of these draft prospects this upcoming week. I'm going to be looking into, the Ruben Baines, the Caleb Downs, a lot of these draft prospects, Jacob Rodriguez, Denai Dennis Sutton, and Dante Corleone, those guys, just look at them, just see how it is, because, and of course, like I said, I'm going to be doing my mock drafts this upcoming season before the NFL draft begins. I'm probably going to be doing it probably next month. Doing some mock drafts next month. But yeah, guys, man, the NFL free agency is going to begin next week. NFL Combine is wrapped up. I'm not too sure if you guys saw the game on Sunday, but do y'all see a Ben Johnson at the Bulls game? Shout out to Ben Johnson at that Bulls game. He almost took his shirt off, but it was crazy. But Ben Johnson, he's doing Ben Johnson things. Man, it's crazy that when the Bulls beat the Milwaukee Bucks, Ben Johnson decides to come to a game, bro. But man, dude, the Chicago Bulls, them going winless in the whole of February was just so depressing. But I mean, shoot, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, guys, this is not we're not talking about the Bulls right now. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. What do you guys think in the comment section? Do you guys think that the Chicago Bears will trade for Max Crosby? And what do you think they're going to be doing this upcoming NFL free agency? Will they sign Trey Hendrickson? Trey Hendrickson, he's a possible the Cincinnati Bengals did not franchise tag him. He's going to be in a free agency. And what about Khalil Mack? Khalil Mack, too, that could be a possible reunion between, the Chicago Bears and Khalil Mack. He could help out some of the young players on this team, like a Austin Booker, and possibly, if the Bears draft a defensive tackle, they could probably learn a thing or two from him. But yeah, guys, like I said, guys, stay tuned for a lot of stuff this upcoming week. And yeah, guys, I will see y'all later, man. All right, guys, peace. I'm out.